Welcome to Bulgaria. The beautiful grapevine behind me. And on the way back here to this little village where Zlatka's grandparents lived yesterday from the Black Sea, Zlatka and I in the car, we weren't driving, so we were able to just sort of rest and relax. And during this time, we were both just having our own meditative experiences. And all of a sudden, I was a bit, there was an overwhelming sensation of fear and anxiety. And I noticed a desire to not give it a voice and to not allow myself to feel it and to respond. Zlatka and I were talking for a moment and to just pretend that it wasn't there. That was really what I was noticing. Was there was an element of me just pretending it wasn't there, and to just in a way fake it, and to fake feel okay, and to not express or to not allow myself to feel this fear and anxiety. And so this writing that I'm going to share with you, it came through. And if you're receiving this is certainly a gift, and I am grateful to share this gift with you. And you can think of it sort of like a meditation, a living meditation, because what I chose to do, instead of pretend that fear and anxiety wasn't there, I chose to work with it and to use self-inquiry, to inquire, to ask myself, not even at first to ask myself, but to just allow this fear and anxiety, to allow myself to feel it. And then I did begin asking some questions. And as I expressed this to Zlatka, actually, it was big for me to just really share with her, like, hey, babe, I'm experiencing a big amount of fear and anxiety, and I want to just work with it and be present with this emotion that I'm feeling in my body, or that's what it felt like at the time. And I started to go into it. And before I read this, the point in me sharing this is, well, I'd love to share. So that's one reason. And these are the things that we are exploring in Selfless Creators. And so this is also an invitation, if after hearing this you feel you want to share in more conversations like this, and this is something that is important to you, and you find a level of resonance, you're welcome to join. So but first and foremost, please just enjoy this transmission, and it's entirely up to you to see if any of it is also true in your experience, when or if you ever do feel fear or anxiety or any sense of contraction. So I noticed as I sat there that my mind began to create this story of annihilation, of death. And as I was going into this fear, my mind was manufacturing this, that I was speeding towards my death, metaphorically, but also that felt physically real, because we were driving in a car. And as I was I wasn't even trying consciously to augment or to aggravate or to make the fear worse. I just wanted to be present with it. However, I guess the nature of me wanting to be present with it, there was this intensification of it as I was focusing on it. Like it almost felt like maybe I was putting a magnifying glass on it instead of avoiding it, which I have done and I do from time to time. And it's very subtle. It's very subtle. I can just get to work or do my daily practices or share space and suppress this, but I didn't want to suppress this. So it was really this this moment. This is exactly what happened. This is exactly what happened. As I noticed this, I said, Christopher, right now you're just misidentifying an enormous amount of love and joy and freedom. And you're misidentifying it for contraction, for fear, for anxiety. But although I know that to be true in many different experiences that I had in the past, I conceptualized that and I was using that as a coping mechanism. And actually I was using that as a way to run away from that which I was experiencing in the moment. And I noticed this too, which was really, really interesting. And so instead of just saying, hey man, stop misidentifying this fear as contraction and realize it for the expansion and the love and the joy and the peace and the bliss and all of the wonderfulness that is manifesting through me, through this body and this mind. Instead of doing that, because I when I was very honest with myself in that moment, I said, no, that would be sort of running away from this. I decided to sit with it, and it was deeply challenging. It was deeply uncomfortable, very scary, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But I just said, I'm going to be with this. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to investigate this fear and this anxiety. And so this is the writing that came through. I am intensely imagining a story of a future because my body, mind, ego, I'm using those three things as synonyms here. I'm intensely imagining a story of a future because my body, mind, ego can't imagine how amazing it is to truly just be here. So I was realizing the function of my partly the function of my mind, my ego, the thing that feels like it's temporary and will die. It has to project this story into the future because it, as it was appearing to me, it couldn't handle the how amazing it is to just be fully here. So it's constantly thinking up a really good story, sometimes not so good. For the most part, it's constantly my mind. When I say it, is thinking of a story for the life of Christopher to experience from all sides with a full range of emotions, situations, actions, and actors or characters in this story. Yet, if he just stops intentionally imagining this future self, and that's precisely what I realized as I was intensifying this fear. I realized that I was conscious. I was unknowingly. So at first it felt unconscious. And then I realized, I'm like, well, why am I perpetuating this story of fear and anxiety? I don't have to do that. I don't need to feel fear and anxiety. So yet if he just stops intentionally imagining this future self, he is left here in the infinite now. This character, is left here in this infinite now where there's no story, no anxiety, no characters, just infinite and totally empty of self, of imaginary self, unfiltered reality, experiencing this unfiltered reality that has no borders, no boundaries, and no edges. You, Christopher, I'm talking to myself here, you literally just stopped imagining a story of annihilation, dealing with your own fear and anxiety driving headfirst into that fear. And you went into this story of dying because you saw the only way the emotion, this was big for me, because I saw that the only way the emotion and identity that I was buying into through this fear and anxiety, the only way that the emotion and the identity could survive and live was inside of a story. But the truth is, there's no story at all. Not even this one. How brilliant. Literally, you, Christopher, were feeling the most amazing feeling of liberation and expansion for anxiety and fear. Feeling these intense inside out feelings as a contracted individual that does not even exist. I was feeling feelings on behalf of an individual, on a fearful, a frightened, anxiety-ridden, in that moment, anxiety-ridden and full of fear individual. I'm feeling feelings on behalf of an individual identity that doesn't even exist. And I realized this. All that exists is the infinite expanse that is beyond even expanse itself, because expanse is in a way in a story. Just feel your I am as it is your I am. Your I am is this immense feeling of expansive, infinite bliss, not fear or anxiety. This is what Jesus did. Just experience yourself as your true nature has experienced itself, which is as you are now and always. It is infinite. The mind is afraid of it. The mind is afraid of this infiniteness because this puts an end to the finite mind that thinks it exists when the reality is totally lost and totally found in the identityless identity that you are. I am the I am. This solidification is so dense that it appears as all things and all beings. And yet, when itself is looked for, nothing is ever found. Even when I'm looking for the fearful individual, there was nothing there. So in a sense, I was already annihilated. There was no, I can't get rid of feelings for someone that doesn't exist. Yet, when it is looked for, nothing is ever found, because what we're looking for is what is looking, as St. Francis says. And what we are looking for is all you, or the I am. The unseen hidden in the seen that is hidden in the unseen, emptiness dancing and playing as form itself. Nothing is there, and no one is happening, and everyone is here, and everything is happening. You are a dancing paradox, for you know your every move, and you pretend you know none, for the entertainment of knowing yourself as a temporary finite form, only to see through the veil of your own infinite nature that is beyond which any one human can feel. For your own nature is not your own nature. It sounds like a paradox. However, your own nature belongs to nature itself. And ironically, all that you are is this nature, knowing itself without needing to know itself. Nature's greatest paradox, hearing this, seeing this, experiencing this here and now. For I want to know who I am without my own mind. This is what I received. This is what came through. And I thank you for experiencing it with me, with your I am. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing this space, this virtual space with me. I wish you a day of joy, expansion, and truth. I wish you a day of experiencing the beauty and the love that is the truth of who you are, but only always and in all ways.